Welcome to VSOW, your essential deep dive into the fascinating intersections of history, cultural mythology, and, well, the profoundly unusual.
And today, we're looking at a real clash of titans. The ultimate alien hero versus maybe the most iconic human athlete ever.
Exactly. We're focusing on the incredible, enduring cultural impact of Muhammad Ali and really getting into that spectacular 1978 DC Comics oversized classic,
Mhm.
Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
It's genuinely one of the strangest, but also, I think, most historically significant team-up books ever made. It really fused real-world figures, politics even, with this massive science fiction threat.
Our sources for this are, well, they're pretty rich. We're blending some deep cultural analysis on Ali's influence, which, went way beyond boxing, with a really detailed look at how this specific comic book came about, the creation, the art, its legacy.
Hmm.
And our mission really is to explore and analyze how a real person, Muhammad Ali, through his own moral and political conviction, kind of earned the fictional right to stand shoulder to shoulder, even depowered against Superman, to save the planet.
Yeah, and setting the scene, the time period, is so important for you to grasp this. We're talking the mid to late 1970s, a critical time.
Right.
For Ali, this was after his big Supreme Court win, his vindication. It cemented him not just as an athlete, but as this principled figure who literally sacrificed years of his prime.
Years, the absolute peak of his career.
Exactly. And for comics, this was the era of relevant comics.
Yeah.
Creators like Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams, who ended up doing this book, they were actively trying to bring real-world social issues into superhero stories. Think Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
Tackling drug addiction, racism, things you just didn't see before in mainstream comics.
Precisely. So DC picking O'Neil and Adams for this project, it was a very deliberate choice. They wanted that weight, that seriousness, alongside the spectacle.
Okay, that sets it up perfectly. So, to really get why DC thought Ali could stand against Superman, we need to understand what made Ali the greatest in the first place. Let's start in the ring. That famous phrase, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. It wasn't just a catchy line, was it? It perfectly described his style. So unique, so lyrical almost. Completely broke the mold for heavyweights.
Oh, totally. Before Ali, heavyweights were mostly these powerful, often slower guys.
Yeah.
Plodding, almost. Ali brought speed, agility. Early on, commentators were genuinely confused.
They didn't know what to make of it.
Right. He moved like a welterweight, doing that Ali shuffle. He kept his hands low, which seemed crazy, like he was inviting punches.
But it was calculated.
Absolutely. It let him slip punches easier, use that incredible jab, the snake lick, he called it.
Mm.
Robert Lipsyte from the Times said he combined speed, agility, and power like nobody before. He basically defined modern heavyweight boxing.
And then there's the ultimate tactical masterstroke, the rope-a-dope.
Ah, yes.
This wasn't just him resting on the ropes. It was a plan, right? A really sophisticated one.
Incredibly sophisticated, and he perfected it, famously in the Rumble in the Jungle, 1974 Kinshasa against George Foreman.
Who's younger, stronger, the heavy favorite.
Oh, massively the favorite. Foreman was terrifying. And Ali just leans back on the ropes, lets Foreman wail on him. But the ropes have elasticity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Ali's using the ropes to absorb the impact, let Foreman punch himself out. It's physics, it's psychology. It's brilliant.
Foreman just got exhausted.
Completely exhausted, round after round. Then in the eighth, Ali sees his opening, comes off the ropes, and delivers the knockout. A huge upset. It showed his mind was as sharp as his reflexes. Just pure strategic genius under immense pressure.
But the Ali legend, the one DC wanted to capture in this comic, really solidified when he stepped outside the ring. When he forced America, really the world, to confront race, religion, politics.
That's the crucial part. The night he won the title first time, 64, beating Liston, he announces he's rejecting Cassius Clay.
Calls it his slave name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And soon after formally becomes Muhammad Ali, beloved of God,
Yeah.
heavily influenced by the Nation of Islam, Malcolm X. It was a powerful statement of identity, of black pride, of religious conviction.
A huge political act in itself, but then came the draft refusal.
April 28, 1967. He refuses induction into the U.S. Army, cites his Muslim faith, says he won't fight in Vietnam against, as he put it, other underprivileged people. I find I cannot be true to my beliefs by accepting such a call.
And the hammer came down.
Instantly. Stripped of his heavyweight title, convicted of draft evasion, fined $10,000. Facing prison time, though appeals kept him out.
And banned from boxing for 3.5 years.
Right in his prime. 25 years old, it cost him millions, cost him the peak years of his athletic life. He was essentially exiled professionally.
That's the core of it, isn't it? The cost. He paid a massive price for his principles, which, you have to think, made him an even more compelling figure for DC later on. He wasn't just a champion, he was a symbol of conviction.
Absolutely. And eventually, the Supreme Court overturned the conviction in 1971, vindicated him legally. But the stand he took, the price he paid, that cemented his legacy far beyond sports. He forced a conversation about civil rights, religious freedom, the morality of the war.
He became this global icon of defiance and principle, which sets the stage perfectly for why he, specifically, was chosen to face Superman. It wasn't just about boxing skill.
No, not at all. And beyond the politics, you have to remember, Ali was a media genius.
Yeah.
Just revolutionary in how he handled the press.
Oh, completely. Brash, charming, funny. He invented modern trash talk, didn't he?
Pretty much. He gave opponents these elaborate, often insulting nicknames. He created narratives around his fights, called himself the king of the world, the greatest, the prettiest. He controlled the story.
And that style, that rhythmic bragging, it arguably influenced music too, right? The birth of rap.
There's a strong theory there, yeah. The book Ali Rap makes a compelling case. His cadence, his rhymes, his boastful poetry, it has that proto-rap feel.
LL Cool J even said, basically, no Ali, no mama said knock you out, and Ali coined GOAT, greatest of all time.
He really did popularize it. Think about how ubiquitous that term is now. That's Ali's linguistic legacy, too.
We absolutely have to read that famous quote, the alligator one. It just captures his whole persona.
Oh, the classic. Go for it.
Okay. I done wrestled with an alligator, I done tussled with a whale, handcuffed lightning, thrown thunder in jail. Only last week I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick.
Chuckles. It's just pure poetry, isn't it? Pure performance art. You can see why someone thought this guy could stand up to anyone, even Superman.
Absolutely. And his status as an icon just continued to grow even after boxing, his Hollywood Walk of Fame star.
Right, placed vertically on the wall.
Because he didn't want the name of the Prophet Muhammad walked upon. A small detail, but speaks volumes.
And then his humanitarian work, even after the Parkinson's diagnosis, negotiating hostage releases in Iraq, UN missions, lighting the Olympic cauldron in Atlanta 96. Just globally revered.
Okay, so you have this monumental figure, real-life hero, political symbol, media master, and DC Comics says, let's put him in a comic book, fighting Superman. How does that even start? Whose idea was it?
The exact origin is a little hazy. Some sources say Ali's manager, the flamboyant Don King, pitched it. Others point to the legendary DC editor Julius Schwartz, who was always looking for big, splashy concepts.
Either way, someone had a pretty wild idea.
Definitely. But the key decision was hiring Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. As we said, they were hot off Green Lantern, Green Arrow. They knew how to handle social relevance with superheroics. DC wanted this to be more than just a slugfest.
They wanted it to explore what made both Ali and Superman heroes, right? The ideals behind them.
Exactly. Which brings us to the big logistical question.
Yeah, how on earth does a human being fight Superman? Superman pushes planets, Ali's great, but come on.
Right, it's the fundamental problem. Superman sneezes, Ali goes into orbit. O'Neil and Adams had to figure that out. But even before the plot mechanics, there was a real-world hurdle.
Oh, what's
Getting approval, not just from Ali, but from the Nation of Islam, specifically from the leader, Elijah Muhammad.
Wow. Okay, so DC understood this wasn't just getting a celebrity cameo. They had to respect Ali's religious identity.
Absolutely. It shows how seriously they took the representation.
Yeah.
So O'Neil and Adams actually had to fly to Chicago.
To meet Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah. They went to his house, described his rather elegant sort of Turkish design. They were brought into a parlor, met him very briefly, exchanged greetings, and then he just left the room.
And that was it. That was the approval.
That was apparently the silent nod. It sounds strange, but it signified that the project had the blessing. Respecting Ali's faith was paramount.
That commitment to authenticity carried through to the writing too, didn't it? O'Neil went to Ali's training camp.
You did, up in the Catskills. You wanted to hear Ali talk, catch his rhythm, his swagger, his actual speech patterns, get it right on the page.
And Adams confirmed they used actual Ali quotes in the dialogue.
Especially when Ali's trash-talking the alien opponent later. Adams said they wanted it to sound exactly like Ali, not just some generic doxer dialogue. It had to be him.
Okay, so plot device time. How do we get these two legends into a ring? Stakes have to be high.
Planetary high. An alien race, the Scrub, led by Emperor Ratlar, shows up. Big armada threatening Earth.
Classic sci-fi setup.
Right. And their demand is unusual. A boxing match. Earth's champion versus their champion, this big brute named Hunya. If Earth refuses or loses, annihilation.
Okay, but why Ollie? Why not just send Superman?
That's the twist. The Scrub analyze Earth's fighters, and they specifically choose Ali over Superman.
Their reasoning being?
They argue Ali represents true skill, intelligence, human determination. Superman, they claim, just relies on innate powers he didn't earn. So to settle who truly represents Earth, Ali and Superman have to fight first, a preliminary bout.
Okay, so this forces the issue. They have to level the playing field somehow. It's not just physics, it's moral. Superman has to be brought down to Ollie's level to prove who's the better champion based on skill and heart.
Precisely. It's about stripping away the superpowers to see the hero underneath. And the solution they came up with was pretty clever, using established Superman lore.
Red sun radiation, right? Weakens Kryptonians.
Exactly. So Superman starts training near a fragment of a red sun, kind of weeding himself off the yellow sun powers, getting his body used to fighting without them.
Conditioning himself.
Right. And the actual preliminary fight takes place in a ring orbiting a red sun. So in that ring, Superman has zero powers. He's strong, fit, jacked up Clark Kent, as the script implies, but just human-level strength, speed, vulnerability.
He has to rely purely on whatever fighting skills he's picked up and his willpower.
Which, as we find out, aren't quite enough against the world's greatest boxer.
Okay, let's talk about the book itself. The physical object wasn't a standard comic. Treasury edition. That means
Big, right.
huge. These things were massive, like 10 by 13 1/4 inches. Almost like a small newspaper or an art portfolio. The size was deliberate, meant to make the event feel enormous, cinematic, to really showcase Neil Adams' art.
And Adams considered it his best work, didn't he? Said he really poured everything into it. He absolutely did. He called it his best comic and admitted he really busted his ass on it. You can see the detail, the realism. He even kept Joe Kubert's original cover layout for the main figures out of respect.
That large format really let Adams shine, especially with crowd scenes and action sequences.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Double-page spreads that just wouldn't work in a normal comic. He captured Ollie's movement, his expressions. He made Ollie look like a credible opponent for even a depowered Superman. The art gave him real weight.
But the cover, that iconic cover with the giant crowd, that's legendary in itself, Adams' idea.
Yeah, apparently he just thought, why put famous people in the crowd watching?
Yeah.
And he went for it. Drew over 170 recognizable faces.
Celebrities, politicians, other comic creators, even DC characters hidden in there. Batman, Lex Luthor.
It turned the cover into this incredible pop culture snapshot. A real who's who of the era.
But getting permission, that sounds like a nightmare.
Adams called it opening the biggest can of worms. DC tried to get clearance from everyone.
And some people said no, after they'd already been drawn.
Yep. John Wayne, famously, declined after Adams had already inked him.
So what do? Erase the Duke?
Nope. Adams just improvised. Added a mustache, changed the hair a bit, disguised him. Same thing happened with Henry Winkler, Fonzie. He got a mustache, too.
That's brilliant. It turned a legal headache into a game for the reader to spot the disguised celebrity.
Exactly. It became part of the fun, part of the legend of that cover.
Now, despite Adams' dedication, the book took a while. Started around 76, didn't come out till 78.
Yeah, there were delays. Adams had an agreement with DC, basically. No strict deadline. He wanted to maintain the quality, so he worked meticulously. Took about a year just for the pencils and inks, with help from Dick Giordano and Terry Austin.
But there was a writing issue, too. O'Neill couldn't finish the script.
Apparently so. Mid-project, O'Neill bowed out, and a good chunk of the story was unscripted.
So who finished it?
Editor Julie Schwartz basically handed the rest of the plot outline to Neil Adams and said, you write it. Full script dialogue, panel descriptions, everything.
Wow. While he's also doing the incredibly detailed art.
Yeah. Adams had been involved in the plotting from the start, so he took over, tweaked some things, added bits back in he felt were important. Shows how much creative control he ultimately had.
And even with all that artistic effort, the printing technology back then, it wasn't ideal, was it? Adams called it toilet paper.
Chuckles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't impressed with the standard letterpress printing of the time. It used raised plates, could lead to smeared ink, poor color registration, especially with his fine line work.
So he had to kind of fight the technology.
Pretty much. He really pushed the color, used white ink strategically, tried to get the best possible reproduction quality for the era, compensating for the limitations.
Okay, so after all that, the concept, the approvals, the art, the delays, we finally get the fight. Ali versus depowered Superman. And the comic makes it clear.
Ollie wins. Decisively. Beats the living daylights out of Superman, as the narration says. Wins by TKO in the third round.
Pretty quick. Why so dominant?
The story suggests Superman, even depowered, was still fighting like someone used to having superpowers, relying on strength he no longer had, leaving openings.
While Ollie was all skill, speed, precision.
Exactly. Ali exploited Superman's lack of pure boxing technique. It was skill and strategy beating raw, untrained power.
But Superman still comes out looking heroic, right? He takes the beating but refuses to go down.
Absolutely. He shows incredible stamina, incredible willpower. The crowd, even the aliens, are impressed by his sheer refusal to quit. That becomes his heroism in that moment, not his power, but his heart, his endurance, much like Ollie's own resilience during his exile.
It shows they're both champions in different ways, defined by conviction. So
Yeah.
Ollie earns the right to fight the alien champ Hunya. How does that go? And what was the real plan involving Superman?
Ollie fights Hunya. It's a tough bout, but Ollie uses his ring intelligence, comes back, and knocks Hunya out. Earth wins the official challenge.
But there is more going on.
Way more. Remember Ollie's cornerman, Bundini Brown, acting a bit strange earlier? That wasn't Bundini. That was Superman in disguise. They did a quick switch. The real Bundini was whisked away, disguised as the injured Superman.
Ah. So throwing the preliminary fight was a deliberate strategy.
Exactly. It freed Superman, while Ali kept everyone, especially the scrub leadership, distracted by the main event boxing match happening under the red sun.
Superman, now back under a yellow sun with his powers restored, could deal with the actual threat.
He zooms off and dismantles the entire scrub invasion fleet. So Earth is saved by this combination. Ali's skill and heroism in the ring, fulfilling the challenge, and Superman's power used strategically behind the scenes. Teamwork.
That's clever. It gives both heroes a crucial role. And the comic itself, its legacy. It's a huge collector's item now, isn't it?
Oh, massive. Ungraded copies can fetch around $280 or so, which is significant. But if you have a near mint high-grade copy, like a 9.8,
Yeah.
estimated values can go up towards almost $10,000. It's a true landmark collectible.
Wow. And that value reflects its impact, you think? It was pretty groundbreaking.
Wow. Absolutely. Light years ahead of its time, as some critics say. Merging a real, living political figure with a superhero story on this scale, with this level of seriousness. Nobody had really done that before. It paved the way for future ambitious crossovers.
And it actually changed Superman as a character, too, didn't it?
It really did. Getting beaten so thoroughly because he lacked technique, relied only on power. That was a wake-up call for the character.
Made him realize he needed actual fighting skills.
Exactly. In later stories, you see Superman actively seeking combat training from experts like Batman and Wonder Woman. This comic is often cited as the turning point where Superman acknowledged that power isn't everything, that skill and discipline matter. He learned that lesson directly from Ollie.
So, wrapping this up, it feels like Ollie's real-life fight, sacrificing his title, facing down the government for his beliefs, was perfectly mirrored in this fictional fight. It's a story saying heroism isn't just about having superpowers.
Precisely. It's about conviction. It's about skill. It's about standing up for what's right, even when you're vulnerable. The comic basically argues that Ollie's kind of heroism, his moral strength, is just as valid, maybe even more so in some ways, than Superman's physical power.
The creators answered that question, who's the better champion? By showing Superman fail when stripped of his powers, highlighting that Ollie's strengths were earned, honed.
Yeah, the ultimate superpower might just be that unwavering conviction.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. What truly defines the greatest? Is it the power to knock out an alien champion? Or is it the courage Ollie showed both in real life and in this comic to stand by your principles even when stripped of everything? If you learned something new today about this amazing collision of comics, sports, and cultural history, please do take a moment to subscribe, like, and comment. It really helps us keep these deep dives going. Thank you for listening to VSOW.